Our seats for like what, 30,000?
Yeah.
Randy.
I know.
So much money for us.
Here you go. Here you go. Take it. Take it all. You can have everything. I am penniless. Just allow me to continue watching wrestling. I've been here for the good times. I've been here for the bad times. And WWE TKO, you're pricing me out, man. I'm about to have to, I don't know, sell some plasma just to continue being a wrestling fan. I mean, boy, howdy. I'm not even going to address the WrestleMania 43 situation going to Riyadh because you know what? Vince McMahon, he signed that deal and I saw the writing on the wall. I'm not even opposed to WrestleMania leaving North America. I just wish it had been London or France first. And that's just because those crowds are banger crowds. But you know what? Fine, whatever. But everything else, TKO, you are squeezing us dry. Literally squeezing us dry, and it's not cool. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how TKO is just trying to squeeze blood from a stone. We're the stone, and the blood is our money. Hey, Big Daddy TKO needs a bigger swimming pool. Give me a break. So the first one, let's talk ticket sales. This is a literal thing that was said by the president of TKO. He said that there is much opportunity, there's a lot of opportunity in raising prices on tickets because Vince McMahon was more concerned about families. You're gonna make me talk positive about Vince, aren't you? Because I am. Vince McMahon saw the bigger picture in that he needed families to replenish the fan base. And yet TKO's like, what? Families? Oh, no way, no how. We don't need families. All we need is money. But don't you realize, TKO, families spend money, and TKO, I don't know, are they so out of touch? They don't realize that the WWE fan base has historically been like middle class to lower class. Like, we're not rich. We just aren't. This wrestling has been lowbrow entertainment for a very long time. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I am not rich, nor have I ever been, nor will I ever be. And wrestling is my go-to in life. Wrestling is my happy place. Wrestling fans, we just don't have a lot of money, but we've always been able to go and catch a show when it's in town. But nowadays you can't. Nowadays you can't because TKO just doesn't care. They are just raising those prices. I went and found a YouTube channel by the name of Brandon Hodge. I'll put this video link in the comments or in the description. And on day one of WrestleMania 41 ticket sales, to buy a ticket for one person, he went in the section 400, the nosebleeds, as far as you can go back, it was $950. Okay? And then after fees and taxes and all that Ticketmaster then swoops in and says, I want my cut, $1,306. Literally $1,306 to go to WrestleMania 41. That's one person. Now, someone like me say, I want to bring my kids. Okay, now I'm going to bring both of my kids with me, and boom, we're talking about almost $4,000. Almost $4,000, and that's before parking, gas, merchandise, food, all of that stuff. Because, we're going to want to drink some water at least while we're there. $4,000 to go to bring my two kids to WrestleMania? That is insane. You can't afford that. And you might be like, well, don't go to WrestleMania. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. Sorry if I want to let my kids live out a dream that WWE sells us on of WrestleMania being the most spectacular event of the year. But you know what? The SmackDown, the Raws, they're pretty expensive too. For an evening out to go to a Monday Night Raw, you're talking like $1,000 to $2,000 still. It's like, oh my gosh. And you know why they're doing it? They're trying to compare WWE to the UFC. These are two different tax brackets. The UFC people, they just make more money than the WWE people, and it just is what it is, and it's fine, whatever. You UFC people, eat your caviar, we'll eat our hot dogs, but you can't price us the same in the tickets. For one, there are only 22 to 30 UFC events an entire year, okay? An entire year, there is about 22 to 30 UFC paid events where the public can buy a ticket. But with WWE, there's 50, we're going to say 50 Raws, 50 SmackDowns, because, sometimes there's some tapings, right? That's 100 shows a year. And then you have PLEs. Let's just say 14. That's one a month, even though we know they do more than one a month. One a month plus SummerSlam and WrestleMania being a 2-night affair. So there are 114 wrestling events that you can buy a ticket to. We're not even including NXT. So therefore, you can't price them the same because UFC is in, like, there's just not as many shows. So they are just not comparable. They are two different entities that should be treated as two different entities. But no, TKO just keeps raising the prices where people can't afford to go. Oh, and I know there are people out there that will literally be saying, well, if people are buying the tickets, I don't know what to tell you. You are in love with the system that is exploiting you. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Whoop, unsubscribe. All right, well, fine. I'm sorry to see you go. But if you are not offended by that comment, please subscribe to this channel so you can win a belt. This is $1 million belt. I thought it would be fitting since we're talking money. All right, so you can win this belt at 20,000 subscribers. I'm going to give it away, or any belt of your choosing that I've showcased on this channel before. That's been on my shoulder. All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification. Let's talk another way that TKO is exploiting us. And that is in the United States, at least. They have literally split how to watch the product 4 different ways. Is it 4 different ways? Let's count. There's Netflix, there's Peacock, there's cable, and then there's the ESPN network. So if you are anywhere other than the United States, this doesn't apply to you. It's all on Netflix. But this might be news to you. Stick with me, because after this segment, there's even more stuff that TKO is doing to just reach into our coffers and take everything they got. So in the United States, you have to have Netflix for Raw. But then for SmackDown, you have to have cable and or a streaming service like YouTube TV. And YouTube TV is good if you have cut the cord. But you also have to get the CW for NXT. Let's say you want to watch NXT. NXT is on the CW network, so YouTube Live can get all of that. Then you have to have the ESPN network for the PLEs, all PLEs. And I know some of you are going to be like, no. If you already have ESPN, then you can get the app for free. That's right and that's wrong. I've looked into it, and I've asked ChatGPT like 800 times, and it keeps telling me, no. You are wrong, and it's confusing. You do have access to the ESPN app, but you don't have access to everything on the app. So to get the premium live events, you actually do have to pay $30 to access that. So if you have ESPN Plus on cable or whatever, yes, you have access to some of the apps. So it's $30 for us WWE fans. And then to watch NXT PLEs, that is still on Peacock. You following me? And let's say you don't want to watch NXT PLEs. Well, Saturday night's main event is still on Peacock as well. It will not be airing on the NBC network anymore because the ratings were not big enough. So Saturday night's main event is exclusive now to Peacock. You know what that adds up to? I'm going to do the lowest possible options. I researched it all. I went through cable. I went through YouTube TV, and this is what I got. $7.99 with ads for Netflix. $10.99 ads for Peacock, ESPN, $29.99, and YouTube TV was the cheapest at $82.99. That is $131.96 a month, times that by 12 a year to watch WWE. $1,583.52. That's the bare minimum to watch the entire product. The entire product. That's not buying merchandise like toys and pops or belts. Those are custom belts. Those cost even more than a belt like this. But let's say you're not going to buy that. You're not going to buy the posters. You're not going to go to any live events that we've already said they have priced us out. $1,583.06 just to watch the product. And yet Triple H then will go on interviews and say that us fans that are not in the seats, he will then insult us and say that our opinion doesn't matter because we just don't matter. That's what he literally has said. And but yet we are paying $1,500 a month in the United States, that is. And if I had a VPN sponsor, this is actually where I would promote it. Get a VPN if you're in the US. Okay, so those are the two big ways that TKO has demonstrated they just don't care about us. But here's a couple others. We have too many celebrities flat out. Travis Scott. Why was Travis Scott in the most important angle of almost all time, of the John Cena heel turn and the WrestleMania 41 where John Cena wins his 17th record-breaking world title? Why was he there? Why was that celebrity there? It made no sense whatsoever. Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll teams up with Randy Orton. They never explained why those two are friends. Put aside from the fact that these guys are lifelong fans. We're just talking story here. Why? They don't explain it because they're valuing celebrity over story. Cardi B, she was supposed to host SummerSlam. At SummerSlam, she appeared, I think, at night 2 for the first 2 minutes. That's it. What was her purpose there? I'm not saying celebrities don't have a place. Logan Paul and Bad Bunny and Johnny Knoxville, they're okay, cool. They treated the sport very respectfully. And in fact, Jelly Roll even treated the sport respectfully. Still, though, they never connected the dots on the story about how he's friends with Randy Orton. It's just like, we need these celebrities. Every week on Raw, we're just, hey, look at that Netflix celebrity. Look at that Netflix celebrity. Look at that Netflix celebrity. Or what about when Netflix debuted on Raw? The Rock showed up, right? The Rock showed up and completely threw away his final boss character. For 1 year, we waited for the final boss to come back, and they threw it all away because they wanted The Rock to be the spokesman, to just play nice and makes up with Cody on the spot. It made no sense whatsoever. And then while we're on the subject, they bring The Rock back because ticket sales are low. And shocker, what did we talk about earlier? Them raising the prices on all tickets. But no, they bring back The Rock. They disrupt all storylines. The Rock comes in, creates a moment where John Cena turns heel, and then he bounces. No explanation whatsoever. And again, them valuing just money, celebrities, just shocking moments over the storyline, putting a priority on money itself over the story, when in reality, good stories will lead to good money. But no. They're just so like, we got to get this money right this second. And it's not exclusive to just The Rock. It really isn't. Jey Uso's winning of the Royal Rumble, like, let's be honest here. This was a Royal Rumble that had Roman Reigns, John Cena's last Royal Rumble, CM Punk, who everybody in the writer room was like, it should be CM Punk, and it was very logical to be CM Punk. Whether you like CM Punk or not, it was very logical for it to be CM Punk or John Cena, or even Roman Reigns. But no, they went with a shock moment because they needed to sell this documentary. On top of that, they had another shock moment for this documentary, Unreal, and that was John Cena just turning heel. And they had no idea what to do with either of them, based on the fact that Jey Uso, he just loses his title, I think 51 days later, doesn't get a rematch at all, really, and he defended it, one time against Logan Paul. And John Cena, literally the night before SummerSlam, decides to just say, hey, you know what? I'm a good guy again. I'm glad they did that, but it just showcased that they have no idea. They're just getting these, like, you better create a moment. You better get these YouTube impressions. You better just create these huge, like, jaw-dropping opportunities for us to just rake in the money and just prioritizing the wrong stuff. The wrong stuff. Shock TV does not necessarily create. It did create money in the Attitude Era, but their Shock TV actually had storylines to go with it. This is just like, turn them heel. And then what? I don't know. And you want to know something? You know how they're running counter programming against AEW? We need to, like, support AEW as much as possible. You know why? Because that counter programming, what they're trying to do is run AEW out of business. And you're like, oh, well, all businesses do that. And don't celebrate that, because you know who's going to get hurt the most in the long run? The wrestlers. The wrestlers. Right now, WWE has to competitively pay the wrestlers, but if they can run AEW out of business, they can pay them whatever they want, because there'll be no other game in town. So WWE TKO is strategically trying to just lower. This is the real reason they're trying to lower the pay of their wrestlers. They did that in the 2010s when they bought UFC to all the other MMA establishments. They just ran out all MMA people, all MMA companies out of business, and now they can pay whatever they want because there's no one higher than them. So, like, TKO is not good for the consumer and for the wrestlers. Here's another thing. I do know that TKO has been cutting severance pay. Like, it used to be for every year you were employed by WWE, you would get stuff. Now it's like, I think you get like 2 weeks severance pay. They just totally slashed all of the office workers. And it's not, they also slashed house shows. All house shows, because house shows were not making as much money as they could. Now, I'm not saying they were losing money on house shows. I was saying they were not making as much as they wanted to. And, like, even if they were losing money, it's a long-term investment. House shows are crucial, absolutely crucial to developing a superstar, whether it's developing their character, their in-ring nuances, or just their microphone times, they're speaking on the microphone, or just their actual performance in the ring. When Kairi Sane, and I'm not blaming Kairi Sane, okay? I'm not trying to villainize her, but when Kairi Sane came back from injury, like 2 people got injured in the ring with her almost immediately. I tend to wonder if Kairi Sane had been able to wrestle on the house show loop for 2 to 3 months, would that have happened? Would she have been able to get rid of that ring rust? And again, I'm not necessarily blaming Kairi Sane, even though it probably sounds like I am. I'm blaming that there's no opportunity for these wrestlers to practice, really. There just isn't. In front of a crowd. You could practice all day long in an empty warehouse, but it's in front of a crowd that really matters. That's where you cut your teeth and get good for TV. It's a long-term investment, but TKO, they're not in the wrestling business. They're in the making money business, and they don't see that. They don't see that by outpricing us WWE fans, the ones that have been here after the Hogan-McMahon trial in the 90s, the ones who stayed after the tragedy of Chris Benoit, the ones who lived through 2019 putting dog food on Roman Reigns, we're the ones that you are outpricing. Right? Because wrestling is cool again. The reason why it's cool again is because it stopped being cool for a very long time. And in that period when wrestling wasn't cool, we were the ones who kept the lights on. We were the ones who never gave up. And it seems like we are being disrespected day by day. Every time there's a new way. You fire R-Truth. R-Truth? Come on. We chant for Karrion Kross. You don't listen. You just cut, you take, and you don't give. And you're not even hiding it anymore. The sponsorships are just so obnoxious. There's nothing sacred to you people. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, there's a fireball ladder you have to climb up now. Now we know that nobody is going to win until that fireball ladder is broken out. The tables. Slim Jim on the tables, it's comical almost and disgusting at the same time. You know what? There's a time and a place for product placement when when Bronson Reed stole the shoes of Roman Reigns, I thought that was brilliant product placement. That made me want to get shoes, honestly. And I'm not even a shoe guy. I was like, yeah, that was cool. I wouldn't mind those Roman Reigns shoes. That's how you do product placement. You don't just throw a sticker on a table. Remember when CM Punk was knocked out for 10 minutes during the John Cena plate bomb and that Slim Jim logo there? It just, I don't know. There's just no soul. There's just no soul. And it's like, come on, man. Come on, TKO. Like, I don't know. That's it. That's it for now. I'm sure, like, I'll turn off the video. I'll come up with like 8 other ways because it just seems like they aren't just even nickel and diming us anymore. They're just like flat out take. I want your money. I want your money. I told you how they are just like, they're just going for it. They're just going for it. And that's if you buy nothing. That's if you just want to be a pure WWE fan. You're still shelling out $1,500 just to watch the product in the United States. God forbid you actually want to attend a show. There you have it, boys and girls. Unfortunately, we are in a very dark time, and I fear it's only going to get worse. Like, I've heard of ticket sales in the tens of thousands. Even Randy Orton has said that's embarrassing when he was confronted by how much someone paid. Someone paid $30,000 to go see WrestleMania 41. His mind was blown. And my mind is blown too with how bad TKO is just treating us fans. It sucks. TKO sucks. They really, really do. All right, I can only pray some way, somehow, someone can one day buy WWE's soul back. I wish I had some good news to close this on, but I really don't. Really don't. We are in a dark age, and it's only gonna get darker. Have a good day. Bye.